Hi, and welcome to my new video. Today we're going to be mixing up a medium for oil painting. I use this recipe all the time. I've used it for years. It's great for thinning out my paint. Sometimes the paint comes out of the tube a little bit too thick, and you want to thin it down so that you can do finer detail. Sometimes it's just the consistency is wrong and you need a better consistency for your brush. Whatever the need is, this recipe comes in very handy. I use it in just about all my paintings. It's great to have on hand. I just keep it in a little squirt bottle and I just put a few drops in with my paint every time I need to thin them out a little bit. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so just trying to frame this up so that you guys can see here. I've got a number of things. I've got my glass jar, my Bix pickle jar. That's what I'm going to use to mix things into. I'm trying to I just realized this whole thing is probably just filming the nothingness over here. I've got my Damar solution. It's getting a little harder to find the more traditional products out there as companies try and switch to more eco-friendly choices. Straight Damar solution is getting harder to find. You might have to buy the crystals and make your own. Most of the stuff that I saw out there was already pre-mixed, which is, I guess, fine if that's how you're going to use it, if you're not going to mix your own, and also if you trust what's in it. Basically, you're buying blind. You don't know, and you don't know how it's going to last, if it's going to be color safe, color fast over time. There's so many things that artists worry about with their work, and I think it really just comes to personal choice. If you feel like what you're using is working, then I guess that's what you use. But I think the whole debate over archival quality and materials and everything that artists use it's been contention between artists forever, I think. Some people will still grind their own marble dust to make their own gesso. A lot of people just use acrylic gesso. It really just comes down to what you're feeling comfortable with. I use turpentine in my recipe, and I also use the cobalt dryer. And cobalt dryer, another thing really hard to get right now. I have a bottle of cobalt dryer in my house somewhere, and because it's a little bit toxic, I put it in a safe place, and now I can't find it. So I've gone out and I bought this new product, Eco House natural product. This is a mixture. It's not straight cobalt. It has a little bit of cobalt in it, but they say that it actually works quite well. We're going to give it a try. We'll find out. It's got cobalt, zirconium, and calcium octalates in it. Basically, this works as a dryer. It forces the actual paint to dry just a little bit quicker, which is good. So this helps speed my process, save me a few days of waiting for paint to dry. You don't use very much of it. You generally use a couple drops in your paint, and it basically catalyzes and encourages the drying of your paints. Because I do fairly realistic areas, if I finally get a section or a piece of the painting that I like, I want it to dry like that. It's set where I want it, and I can't set my hand down on the painting because it's wet. Sometimes I have to wait a couple days and let things dry. Some colors dry faster than others. Blacks, browns, your basic siennas and umbers, ochres, they all dry really fast. At least they do for me because I paint quite thin. Other colors, not so much. Whites are the worst. Whites take days and days and can sometimes take weeks. So adding a little bit of dryer into the paint helps a lot. I think that everyone will find their own comfort level in what works best for them within their paintings. The one thing you have to be careful with, if you paint quite thick, you don't want to really add too much dryer as well. You have to be careful of premature hardening of the paint on the exterior, because what will happen is that it forms a skin and then the outside dries faster than the inside, and then that's what causes cracking. Basically, the recipe is straightforward. It's 1 part Damar, 1 part stand oil, 5 parts turpentine, and 10 to 15 drops of cobalt dryer. We're gonna give these things a try. I bought these. These are like little disposable eyedroppers. I bought them at the dollar store, but because it's got cobalt in it and stuff, I wasn't comfortable with something I'm gonna reuse or keep around. I want to use it once and discard it. Now, I think probably the best way to do this is probably as I'm gonna measure vertically on my jar, and I'm just going to measure out where my measurements are going to be, and then I'm just going to pour into it. You don't want to start pouring this stuff into measuring cups. It's very sticky. It doesn't pour easily in their the raw states. It's hard to clean up. unless you've got the facilities for it. But I just want to pour directly in with as little waste as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to disappear for a second in the magic of camera. I'll be right back. But I'm going to go and I'm going to measure up and mark on my jar where my measurements are going to be. So I'll be right back and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so I've sort of marked on my jar my levels. I don't know if you can see that there. Pretty simple. This jar might actually be a little bit big for what I need. I'm going to mix 3/4 of a jar. That's going to do me for a while. Basically, you're going to want to put your medium into a squeeze bottle like this. This is my current one, and I don't know, you can sort of see how viscous that is. It's still not too bad, but for you guys, I am mixing up another one. I can't seem to get a container that big, so here's my new one. So you can tell the difference is quite a bit. So I've got to be careful. I'm going to end up mixing quite a bit here. Just going to pour my fluids in. You can see how thick this is. It's like honey, really. Okay, there I go. It ended up being just about half a bottle. The Daymar, I'm gonna pour that in. This is a smaller bottle, so it does not go as far. I'm gonna end up using the entire thing. Okay. And then we're gonna pour in some turpentine. Again, probably something you should do outside, not inside, unless you're in a studio space. Doesn't matter how you do it, turpentine ends up dripping, so that's why I've got this pad down here to start with. Let's just move that down a little bit. You can sort of see. Now, you got to be able to mix this stuff, so you need something to mix it with, and chances are whatever you mix it with is not going to be much useful afterwards. You know, it's going to be raw and sticky. You can use an old paintbrush that is no longer a paintbrush. Once the bristles are wrecked, you can just pull the ends off. You've got these nice little sticks. The other thing that I have, depending on what you want to use, you can buy just little bits of doweling. You can buy them at the art and craft section at the dollar store. Get these packs for $1 each, and they make perfectly good stir sticks. So you want to get in there and give it a good stir. You can tell it's a lot more liquid than my old one, as well as it's a lot lighter. We're going to add our dryer into this. And oh, look, okay, I've never bought this brand before. It actually has sort of a dropper type lid on it. That's interesting. I'm not going to need my droppers. So let's see here. I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, I went a little overboard there, but should probably stop between 10 and 15. But this does not have as much cobalt in it, so I'm a little bit skeptic as to how well it works. So I put a few extra drops. So that's it. That's the medium. So if anyone's ever looking for it, I actually pulled this recipe out of the Artist's Handbook, which should still be available. It's been available for years, sort of the Artist Bible, and you should be able to get it through your bookstore. It's got a lot of stuff in there. A lot of stuff's dated though, so you got to watch that. They do update it. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. And basically I'll just put a few drops of this on my palette as I paint, beside the paints that are a little bit too thick. And just use it as I go. And that's it. So a quick picture of the cover. This is Ralph Mayer's Artist's Handbook. This is the 5th edition. This is the one I use. It's quite a hefty book. It's fairly big, as you can see. So at least you know what you're looking for if you're going to end up looking for one. I should also say I'm not endorsing the book. Something that my art instructors showed me, and I'm just passing that information on if you choose to use it. Now what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've poured some of the varnish from the jar into the smaller container. Makes it a little bit easier that I can use it as I go, just a little drop at a time as I need it. I hope that was helpful to some people. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I'm going to get some other videos up very soon. I'm going to start doing some painting here and get that filmed and edited for you guys to watch. I've got a painting already started that I want to work into and get going on. It's one I started a little while ago and never got back to, so I'm going to get back into it. And so you can actually see me painting and working on things. I'm also going to try and get some videos and show you some of my past works and as much different materials as I can. I don't know what type of videos I'm going to make. And eventually, once we get enough subscribers here, we're going to work up to doing some live streaming. So thanks for coming by. I really appreciate everyone who's come through and subscribed and liked my videos. I will continue to provide you with some entertainment. So have a great day, and I will see you in my next video.